This next story we're going to look at is it's great. I think it's fantastic. This is probably one of my favorite stories because it's one I've been seeing other people cover, but I haven't seen them take this perspective. So I'm going to try to have a different perspective than they have. So if you have seen this before, don't click off or scroll away yet. Come back to me. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to roll a clip real quick. Again, you may have seen this, making the rounds and everything like that. This is from CNN, and it's talking about Trump polls and approval ratings and all this and that. So let's take a look and let's come back and talk about it.
This is a much more organized and effective start to his second term as compared to his first. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton joining us now to run the numbers.
And you know what? The average of the polls also has him on the positive side of the ledger. Trump's net approval rating on February 9th. Look at this. In 2025, he's at plus 4 points. Look where he was in 2017, his first term at this point. He was at minus 5 points, so he's doing nearly 10 points better on the average. And more than that, as I mentioned, it's not just the CBS News poll, it's the Ipsos poll, it's the Gallup poll, it's the Pew poll. All of these polls have him in better shape than those respective polls had him at this point back in 2017. So the bottom line is, no matter where you look, Donald Trump is more popular than he was 8 years ago at this point in his first term.
And how rare is it that Trump's in this positive territory when it comes to his approval rating?
Yeah, I remember Donald Trump's first term, and it just seemed every single day Donald Trump was in the negative territory. And it turns out it was pretty much every single day of his first term. Positive net approval rating for Donald Trump, again, using the aggregate of the polls. Look at this. In his entire first term, just 11 days. Just 11 days was he on the positive side of the ledger. Compare that so far, every single day, all 20 days so far, he has been on the positive side of the ledger. So he has nearly doubled up the number of days in which he has a positive net approval rating from his first term. And we're only 20 days in. Every single day, Donald Trump has been in positive territory compared to just 11 days during his first term. The bottom line is, no matter which poll you look at, no matter what way you look at it, simply put, Americans like the job that Donald Trump is doing significantly more this time around than they did in his first term, when he just had 11 days in which he had a positive net approval rating compared to already nearly 3 weeks so far, Jessica. Of course, Donald Trump won the 2016 election. He won the 2024 election. But when you went into his first term, there were a lot of folks who simply put did not think that Donald Trump was doing what he promised. Back in April of 2017, it was just 46%. Compare that to 70% so far. So a big reason why Donald Trump is significantly more popular now than he was at this point in his first term is because, simply put, the American people believe he is fulfilling his campaign promises in a way that they did not believe he was doing, believed he was getting off on the wrong track back in 2017. They believe he's following his campaign promises this time around. And that is, I believe, a big reason why so many more Americans are approving of the job that he's doing compared to his first term at this point.
So a few things with that, and I'll be very streamlined in this. Number one, I'll say, I think a big part of why people think he's getting more done that he said he would than he did the first time is because he is. The first time he relied on people surrounding him that were suggested or recommended or put there, so to speak, and says, okay, this is going to be your crew. And they did nothing. So many of them did nothing. Right. And then he continued to say, I'm going to go to Congress. I'm going to allow Congress to do this. I'm going to push this for Congress to do. And Congress didn't do anything. He tried to do the wall. They knocked it down. He tried to do all kinds of things and he kept getting knocked down. He had nobody that was a go get him kind of person. What did he do this time? Executive order, executive order, executive order, executive order. He's taking them upon himself to get things done. Clearly not the way he wanted to do it. He wanted to go through Congress and everything. But now he's like, look, you guys are going to just play around. I'm here to get stuff done. So executive order, executive order, executive order. Not only that, but look at the people around him. There's not one slouch. There's no Mike Pence's on this team. Elon is killing it. JD Vance is out there doing what he does. And that dude's amazing. He did an interview just not too long ago. I mean, just anytime he's talking to somebody or anytime he's doing a rally or a presentation or speaking at a conference, whatever it is, that guy nails it. I would be shocked if he is not our next president after Trump. I mean, he's killing it. Plus, we definitely want to see where this goes after Trump, right? Want to keep this train moving, people. But my point is that everyone around them, the RFKs, the Tulsis, the Cash Patels, you know, all these people that are confirmed or are getting confirmed, you know, these are all people that are out there making stuff happen, or that once they can, they will go out there and make it happen once they get confirmed and in office and everything. Look at the Pam Bondis, you look at the, Caroline. They're all go get them. They're awesome. And that's what he had to do, is he had to have the right people. That's one thing. The other thing is, what has changed? The landscape of the media. Okay. The landscape of the media has changed. There's really two things that kind of went over there, and they had their own little personal takes on there. I remember the first time he was in office, it seemed like every day it was negative. Most of the media coverage, I think they said 90% of the media coverage on Trump, his first go around, was negative. This time we all know that the media has had to lighten up a little bit because the numbers are tanking. People are not trusting them anymore. Why not? Because they're trusting us. They're trusting new media, independent journalists, whatever you want to call us, you know, journalists, commentators, news readers, content creator, whatever. I don't even know what I am. A conservative commentator, maybe a journalist. I don't know. But more people are turning to us. In fact, there's an article right here I found, and this is from back in November. This is from PBS News, and it said about 20% of Americans get their news from social media influencers. Now, I'm not going to go into the article. You guys know, if you've ever watched the show, I've got all the links down in the show notes below. You can go read this whole thing and check it out. But this is showing the shift. I wish I had a chart here to show you how much things have shifted. But more people are starting to get their news from online independent journalists. I mean, credible news sources that are independent, you know, that are just not the CNNs, the NBCs, the ABCs, the Fox Newses. You know, there's the rise of those guys. There's all these conglomerations that are starting. I mean, PureBlood Media. I'm very fortunate to be associated with these guys. It is a group of content creators, commentators, journalists, what have you, that are very determined to make sure that what they are presenting is accurate, is fact-based. The news aggregator, and that's always going to be linked in the show notes below, but the PureBlood Media news aggregator is you go to the site. It's the first thing that pops up. It's multiple news articles, and each one of them has to be triple sourced verified before they'll allow it on the site. Okay? Because we want to be truthful. We want to be honest. We want to fact check within ourselves before we come to you. Mainstream media has not done that. How many clips can we pull out and go to and show where they have lied? And then when they get called out on the lie, they find a way to kind of shimmy away from it without actually acknowledging that they've lied or been deceptive. Am I right? So we are a huge part in why the tide is turning. It is, one, he is actually accomplishing more than he did the first time. And two, people are seeing it. And a huge part of that is not just Elon with Doge, but Elon with X. X is more balanced than it has ever been with conservative and liberals. We covered that on this show. I want to say we covered it on the show. I know I saw the story on that. And again, it was actually Eaton or whatever his name is from CNN that was talking about it. It is more balanced now than ever. And everybody's on the left is like leaving because it's too conservative. Well, if 50% is too conservative, then I don't know what to think. I don't know what to tell you. It's incredibly balanced right now, whereas it used to be overly left leaning. So because of Elon, it's now found more balance. And because of that, we've been able to get the truth out there. We've been able to actually get stories out there and find stories out there. And not just Elon, but these other sites that are kind of loosening their grips a little bit, one of which we'll talk about in probably the next segment. and of course Rumble. If you're not watching this on Rumble, I do highly recommend them. I don't have to, I mean, yes, this is exciting. Very, very exciting. I would love to hit this number on YouTube. But I don't have to worry about what I say on Rumble. I can go out there and I can say what I have fact checked and I know is true and accurate, whereas I have to kind of dance around stuff with them, which I refuse to do. So, you know, if you're watching this channel, you're watching this show, any day I could get taken down because I don't pull back. I don't go wild out there. I'm not big into profanity, and I don't try to be too nasty or anything on my show. But at the same time, some of the stuff I cover could potentially be controversial to certain folks, to certain censors. But it's important to get the truth out there, and so that's why I'm on all these different platforms. That's why all these other creators are doing the same thing. That's why you have seen the shift, because people are finding us. People are finding the truth and seeing through the BS that the mainstream media has been misinforming them of. They see that they are the arbiters of misinformation and we are the arbiters of truth. Think about that. But I think those are two of the biggest things is Trump's got a great team around him, and between them and his executive orders, he's getting significantly more done in a faster pace. And then two, it's the new media, us, that has made a huge difference. And not only the perception that he's getting things done, but the positive outlook on the man. You look at all the things he's doing and how it's being covered. The mainstream media still has a bone up their butt, right? And they're still being negative. Not as much, but they're still being negative. They're still lying. But you see, most of us, we lay out the facts and let you decide. And you have decided this man's not as evil and as terrible as maybe you used to think he was, as he was presented to be by the mainstream media. Even his vice president couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand him because he bought into and believed the misinformation and the lies, the deception of the mainstream media. And now he's singing a different tune. He's vice president of the United States, and he's killing it.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.